For our audience, can you help us understand what interNFT standard is and how is it different from, let's say, creating on Ethereum or any other blockchain for that matter?
First of all, defining interoperability. What's interoperability? So I will pick up a very simple example of like what is it that implies to have interoperability between smart contracts versus interoperability between blockchain. So you can imagine Ethereum with its smart contracts like apartment in New York City, right? Like all of the apartments are connected very quickly and you can talk to each other very quickly, and there is no special permits or like access or passports or visas required for you guys to be able to travel to each other and talk. So the communication is very quick, but at the same time the amount of space there is limited. Versus you can imagine a cosmos or like connected chains, like suburbs or countries that are like spread across the globe, and they have connections in between them, right? So you have to pay the cost of traversing, you have to get visas and passports, and you have to prove that like my existence here versus my existence there, etc. So in getting a little bit more technical, in at the smart contract level, since everything is running on one layer, you are directly able to send and receive messages without having to prove if what you're sending is correct or not. But when you go interchain, you have to not only prove that what you're sending is correct, but also prove that the consensus that is running the application, is it being run properly, and what is the proof that whatever you're sending is correct and included in the blockchain, right? So that's where the complexity steps in. And then secondarily comes the issue about data itself. So if the interface is same, like if I know how to talk to each other, I can do so, but the underlying data that has to be standardized as well. So when a smart contract is talking to another smart contract on a chain, it just should know what methods or functions to call on that smart contract. If you have defined a standard for the interfaces, you're done, they can communicate. But when you go interchain, you have to transfer the data as well, and the data is not standardized, right? The interface might be standardized, but the data is not standardized. You cannot even standardize the interface also, because the languages that different chains are built on is different. So that is where the like complexity or issue of interoperability steps in. That is where the like main problem of building a interoperable NFT is. With ERC20, it's very easy. It's just a token, so there is not a lot of data. It's just the number of tokens and the name of the token, right? So it's very simple. It's basically the same everywhere else except for UTXO based chains. But with NFTs, it's quite different. NFTs, it has to carry the data along with it also. So building an inter NFT standard is basically building a standard for how to talk to the NFT, how to do stuff with the NFT, at the same time standardizing the metadata of the NFT. How will the data look like? What is the structure that the data follows? How can I utilize the same data across chain, and every chain with different languages with different specification are able to understand that? So that's basically the problem and the thing, like the standard that we're trying to build with interNFT, that irrespective of what chain, irrespective of what language, you're still able to understand and like work with that NFT.
Got it. So essentially, once this interNFT standard is freely available to everybody, essentially people can transfer their NFTs within blockchains. Is my understanding correct?
Yes, you can. So that's just the interoperability at blockchain level. But not only that, but interoperability at the UI UX level also. So what that means is, if you have ever owned a NFT on OpenSea, and you might have asked this question, "Ki, hey, this is running on Ethereum. Let's say Rarible is also running on Ethereum. Why am I not able to see my NFT in Rarible? Right? My address is the same, my everything is same. Why is the NFT not visible there? Why is it that my NFTs in Rarible is in this and OpenSea is in OpenSea? Why can't they cross over the UI UX? That's because the data is not standardized. How to represent this NFT that is minted for OpenSea versus Rarible, there is not a standard set, so they cannot show each other's NFTs across, right? So building interchain NFT is also about standardizing how the UI representation of the NFT would look like. So irrespective of where you are, which application you are, your NFT looks the exact same across the applications. So that's the two pronged approach towards building this interchain NFT.